All right, I'm Jared Sargent, and I'm going to read the first review for Psychology's Final. Okay, 1 is psychic refers to the mind and spirit. 2, classical and operant conditioning is a form of social learning. 3, who proposed the law of effect and how and when a positive consequence follows a behavior, it becomes more likely, and how, when a negative consequence follows a behavior, it becomes less likely. This is by Edward Thornick. Okay. 4. Which of the following does not relate to whether you perceive a cell phone vibration in your pocket? All of the answers were correct, and in quotations actually do relate to whether you perceive the vibration. Okay, 5. Which of the following is not an example of confirmation bias? This is individuals want to discover whether a political issue will be better for their town, so they try not to look for the issue from both perspectives to gain a better understanding. 6. If you can just begin to hear the difference between 3 decimals and 4 decibels, then you will hear 30 decibel sounds. You will not be able to tell a difference until it reaches 40 decibels. 7. The advertisements use red to sell products and make individuals appear more attractive. This may be due to the red as being paired as with Valentine's Day and romantics, various occasions. Now, red alone indicates attraction. This is an example of classical conditioning. 8. Charles the Mover, who can tell between 9 and 10-pound weights, decides to weigh his washing machine and discovers it weighs 100 pounds. He took the introduction of psychology from Dr. Scalzi, so he knows that the clothes dryer could not weigh less than 90 pounds and could not weigh more than 110. Okay, 9. Vigner was secreted added to a beer in an experiment. Patients were placed on one of 3 conditions. Either 1, the secretion of Vigner was disclosed. 2, the secretion of Vigner was disclosed by tasting. 3, participants learned the secretion of Vigner immediately after tasting, but prior to the indicating their preference. Which of the following is true about the results? Reducing preference for the beer occurs only when the disclose happens before tasting. Okay, 10. Raphael can tell the difference between the weight when moving 2 small dumbbells between 9 and 10 pounds, but cannot detect any difference between the weight of the clothes dryer and the washing machine. This is an example of Weaver's law, just noticeable differences. 11. Soil hears a song that makes her smile. She loves the song because it's been paired with dancing with at home with her daddy. This is of a memory, right? In this example, what is the conditioning response? It's smiling. Okay, 12. Which of the following statements is not true? In this particular question, it was individuals with blind spots in only their left eyes. Not true. Okay. 13. You sit on a slot machine all day long pressing the button because you don't know when you will win something. Which schedule of reinforcement is being used? Is variable ratio. 14. I crouch down behind a large electric box by my house and then jump out and scare my kids on more than one occasion. They are frightened each time, and now they approach the electric box cautiously with a little fear and hesitation. In this example of scaring my kids, what is the unconditional stimuli? Dr. Scalzi suddenly jumping out and hiding and yelling. Okay, 15. In the example of scaring his kids, what is the conditioned stimulus? The electric box. But in 16, the example of scaring their kids, what is the unconditional response? It's being startled and feared. Um, 17, in this example of scaring my kids, what is the conditioned response? A little fear and hesitation. 18, which of the following is least associated with REM sleep? Low frequency and slow brain waves. Okay. 19, the semantic memory is knowledge about words, concept, language based knowledge, and facts. 20, in the operant conditioning, negative reinforcement is when something is removed to increase the likelihood of the behavior. 21, Buell watched a movie of the Karate Kid and he did some karate kick and punches that he saw in the movie right after the movie ended. This is an example of observational learning. 22. Herbert Ed Hawes demonstrated that if it takes 1 minute to memorize 4 pieces of information, it should take two more than 2 minutes to memorize 8 pieces of information. 23. Research has shown that using subliminal messages can briefly temporarily affect the behavior. 24. Who created the puzzle box for cats measuring their rate of learning is Edward Thorndike. Okay. 25. Which of the most effective are shaping behavior? Reinforcement. 26. The best explanation of difference in perception of dress that went viral through the social media a few years ago, like the dress that was gold or white or black and white, I suppose, black or blue, I guess. Other perspective systems make the unconscious inference about the illusion of the dress. 27. Parents added a extensive of curfew in quotations. They now stay out longer or later, end of quotations, when their teenagers do all their chores on time. Now their teenagers have been more likely to do all their chores on time. Which type of reinforcement or punishment is being used? Positive reinforcement. 28. You want your 5-year-old to clean up his or her room each day. Select the correct answer that applies to positive reinforcement and how you accomplish this. Set a timer. Tell the child that if the room is picked up clean by the time the timer goes off, she will get a sticker. And if she gets 5 stickers, then she will get a treat. 29. Seville wearing can still learn through classical conditioning. This kind of learning and memory described as implicit memory. Implicit memory. 30. An ATM machine at the bank dispenses or spits out a $10 bill fee every 25 minutes exactly all day long. Which schedule of reinforcement is being used? Fixed intervals. 31. Implicit memory. Implicit memory is to explicit memory as implicit is in yourself, and then explicit is like on your environment kind of thing. Okay, 30, probably the unconscious. Okay, 32, a patient gives a child a cookie when the child is being quiet after a certain amount of time. The child does not know how much time has to go before getting a cookie. Variable intervals is what it's called. 32, a parent gives a child a cookie. Yep, that's variable interval. 33, the main character, Lunaro in Memento, has a memory condition in which he cannot encode new facts or events of long-term memory storage. The other parts of his brain are unaffected by the condition. What part of the brain is likely to be affected by this condition? The hippocampus. 34. If you describe an experiment and explain whether listening to music improves memory, then memory recall would be the dependent variable. 35. You are given a bonus for every 4 cars that you sell. This is a fixed ratio. Which brain region is most clearly associated with classical conditioning and implicate memory? The cerebellum. 37. What is the procedural memory? It's a type of implicate memory that stores information about how to do things. 38. A child has 30 minutes of television watching time taken away for fighting his sister. He does not fight his sister as often. Which type of reinforcement or punishment is being used? Negative punishment. 39. I flashed a group of 9 digits to you briefly, and you could only recall 3 of the 9. But when signed to recall any single row immediately after letters had disappeared, you might be so with near perfect accuracy. This is an example of ionic memory. 40. Ashton took 2 antacid tablets that took his feeling of nauseous away. How Ashton uses Tums more often. How does Ashton's behavior being affected? It's being affected by negative reinforcement. 41. Honeybees can see the light through an ultraviolet range of electromagnetic spectrum. 42. How many distant pieces of information can be retained in a short term working memory? 4 to 9. 43. If you design an experiment that examines whether listening to music improves memory or no music, would be the independent variable. 44. The right hemisphere can do all of the following except speak language. 45. Which of the following is an example of variable ratio reinforcement schedule? Joyce playing scratch off lottery tickets. 46. We learn all of the following from the technique of memory champions, except memory champions having photographic memory. Supposedly in psychology, photographic memory is fake. Okay. 47. After long-term potential, all of the following are true except in this particular question, long-term potential creates a decrease in serotonin. 48. If it takes 2 hours to master a chapter and commit a principle to memory, which of the following is not true? The more study sessions, the better off you would be, I guess. Okay, 49. If you are going to list the names of 10 companies that sponsor your event on the sign, which position is most likely to be remembered? The first one. Okay. All right. According to the research of memory, where is the best place of the study of the exam? The location where you are taking the exam. 51. What did John B. Watson and Rosie Radin demonstrate with her studies of Lou Albert? Emotions can be conditioned and response. 52. If someone says his purse normally sells for 75 but is on sale for 25, he is trying the effect of thinking with anchoring. Okay. 53. The formation of new memories is sometimes called consolidation. The process of bringing up old memories is called reconsolidation. 54. Raphael says, I know that my luck is going to come around. The universe has a way of making things right. The odds are in my favor. Raphael displays the gambler's fallacy because in real life, that's most likely not going to come true. Okay. 55. Lehi is 21. He has an abundance plan for his future. and is eager to start a career. He likes being around other people, enjoying parties, and usually likes to be in charge of conversations. He is very competitive, playing sports teams and enjoying playing to win, which is most likely. Lehi is a student at BYU because it's so broad. Okay. 56. Who use classical conditioning to train a baby to fear white rats and other stimuli? John Watson. 57. Plane crashes come steady to the mind because we have seen it in video media or movies. They are video images. Because of these images come quickly to the mind, we tend to think that they are more likely to happen. And this is example of the availability heuristics. All right, 58. People may not intend to distort facts, but it can happen in the process of retrieval of old memories and combining them with new memories. 59. Red, redneck, weird Nick area and Broca area are which part of the brain? The left hemisphere. 60. If your friend is experiencing difficulties making new memories and experiences herself walking up and becoming conscious every 30 seconds or so, you should tell the doctor to um, to look at the hippocampus. 61. Echoing memory refers to momentary or short-term memory of sensory memories of auditory stimuli. 62. Which research suggests that language determines thoughts? Edward Sparper and Benjamin Lee Wolfe. 63. Chunking refers to the organization of information into meaningful units. And 64, eyewitnesses to the crime often recall the details of a crime most accurately when they return to the scene of the crime. This best illustrates context depending on memory. 65, the confirmation biases refers to the tendency to research for information that supports our perception. 66, a person who can imagine many alternative uses of a paperclip best illustrates diverse thinking. 67. How does the term Gestalt relate to psychology's study of perception? Perception involves more than simply combining sensory stimuli, therefore, the perception is study of Gestalt. 68. Tessa is late getting home, and when she walks in the door, her mother yells at her and lectures her. Now, Tessa does not stay out late in the future. What type of punishment or reinforcement was being used on Talus's mother? Positive punishment. 69. According to Albert Brandern, learning can occur by watching others and modeling what they say or do. This is also imitation. Okay. 70. The average score of the IQ test is 100. The modern IQ test, one standard deviation is 15 points. Someone with the IQ of 115 would be described as one standard deviation above the mean. 71. Who experiences and demonstrates the kids learning from observation is absence or of a reward or consequence is Albert Bandura. 72. How is the explicit memory different from an implicated memory? Explicit memories are memories we consciously try to remember and recall. The implicit memories are those that are not part of our consciousness. 73. An anchoring bias occurs when the focus on the entails pieces of information. And yeah,